Today's lesson is a story prescribed in the text Moments of the Class 9 Supplementary Reader Chapter 4 in the Kingdom of Fools, a Kannada folk tale edited by A.K. Ramanujan. About the author, A.K. Ramanujan, who lived from 1929 to 1993, was a poet, folklorist and translator. He was born in Mysore. He studied at the University of Mysore and Deccan College in Pune. In 1976, the Indian government honored him with the title Padma Shri, the fourth highest civilian award in the country. He knew English, Tamil and Kannada. It was he who translated a well-known Kannada novel, Samskara, by U.R. Ananthamurthy to English. The story in the Kingdom of Fools is a Kannada folktale. The story revolves around the kingdom of fools, which has a foolish king as the ruler and a Guru Shishya's plight of resolving the verdict given by the foolish king. Once there was a kingdom of fools in which both the king and the minister were idiots. They wanted their kingdom to be different from others. So they decided to change night into day and day into night. As it was the order of the king, the people acted accordingly. One day, a guru and his disciple came to the city and saw no one around. And at night, the city was all active. One more thing that surprised them was everything cost the same, a single duddu. Though both guru and disciple were delighted to have everything for a duddu, the guru realized the danger of them living there and asked his disciple to leave the place. But this disciple was all happy to have all his food just that cheap. The Guru warned, "They are all fools. This won't last very long, and you can't tell what they'll do to you next." Somehow the disciple decided to stay there, and the Guru left the place. This disciple ate his fill every day, bananas and ghee and rice and wheat, and grew fat like a street-side sacred bull. One bright day, a thief broke into a rich merchant's house. While carrying his loot out, the wall of the old house collapsed on his head and killed him on the spot. His brother ran to the king and complained. From there started the investigation. First it was the owner of the house, the rich merchant, as it was his house. Then came bricklayer, who built the wall that week, who is an old man now. Next it was a dancing girl, who was going up and down that street all day with her anklets jingling and hence distracting the bricklayer from his duty. And now came the goldsmith, who made the dancer to come many times his door. He set it on the rich merchant's father. His excuse was that he was busy doing jewelry of the rich merchant. Now, the rich merchant was none other than the father of the merchant, whose wall had fallen. Now the justice had come full circle. The merchant came crying, "It wasn't me, but my father who ordered the jewelry. He is dead. I am innocent." But the king was all set to give justice for the thief's death. So he ordered a new stake to be made for the execution. Servants sharpened the stake. But the rich merchant was too thin to be properly executed on the stake. So servants were sent to look for a man who would fit the stake. After all, it was a kingdom of fools. Yes, you guessed it right. It was the disciple who had fattened himself for months on bananas, rice, wheat and ghee. He remembered his wise guru's words. "This is a city of fools. You don't know what they will do next." Now the disciple understood the threat of living in the fool's kingdom. He prayed to his guru in his heart. The guru saw everything in a vision. He had magic powers. He could see far and he could see the future as he could see the present and the past. He arrived at once to save his disciple, who had got himself into such a scrape through love of food. And now the Guru made a plan and told something to his disciple in a whisper. Guru addressed the king. O wisest of kings, who is greater, the Guru or the disciple? The answer was Guru. Then put me to stake first. Put my disciple to death after me. When the disciple heard this, he started shouting, You bought me first, so put me to death first. Not him. The king was confused and asked for the reason. The Guru told that the stake was the stake of the god of justice, as it was new and never had a criminal on it. Whoever dies on it will be reborn as the king of this country, and whoever goes next will be the future minister of this country. The king was now thrown into deep thought. He didn't want to lose the kingdom to someone else in the next round of life. So he postponed the execution to the next day and talked in secret with his minister and came to conclusion that they both, the king and the minister, would die on the stake in order to reborn as king and minister again. Heights of foolishness. But that they were. So the king told the executioners, We'll send the criminals tonight. When the first man comes to you, put him to death first. Then do the same to the second man. Those are my orders. Don't make any mistake. That night, the king and the minister went secretly to the prison, released the Guru and the disciple, disguised themselves as the two, and, as arranged beforehand, with loyal servants, were taken to the stake and promptly executed. The bodies were taken down to be thrown to crows and vultures. They saw the dead bodies of the king and minister. The city was in confusion. All night they mourned and discussed the future of the kingdom. Some people suddenly thought of the Guru and the disciple who were preparing to leave the town. They begged the Guru and the disciple to be their king and their minister. The disciple easily agreed, but it took some time to make the Guru agree. They finally agreed to rule the kingdom of the foolish king and the silly minister on one condition, that they could change all the old laws. From then on, night would again be night and day would again be day, and one could get nothing for a duddu. It became like any other place. Here we come to the end of the story, but it is always advised and expected to read the text. Read it. You will enjoy and try to summarize the story in your own words. What are the two strange things the Guru and his disciple find in the kingdom of fools? In the kingdom of fools, unlike other cities, days were changed into nights and nights into day. Everyone were awake at night till their fields and run their businesses only after dark and went to bed as soon as the sun came up. Also, in the kingdom of fools, everything cost the same, a single duddu. Why does the disciple decided to stay in the kingdom of fools? Is it a good idea? The disciple decided to stay in the kingdom of fools because everything was cheap there and all he wanted was good cheap food. No, it was not at all a good idea because it was a kingdom of fools and it would not last long and anything could happen at any point of time. We can easily foresee the danger. Name all the people who are tried in the king's court and give the reasons for their trial. There were series of people who were tried in the king's court. First it was owner of the house, the rich merchant, as it was the wall of his house which collapsed. Second, it was the bricklayer who built that wall. Third, it was dancer who was going up and down the street all day with her anklets jingling, distracting the bricklayer. Fourth, it was goldsmith who made her wander as he was busy doing the jewelry of the rich merchant. Fifth, it was the rich merchant's son, as the old rich merchant had already died. Who is the real culprit? According to the king. Why does he escape punishment? According to the king, old rich merchant's son is the real culprit as his father was no more now. As the son has inherited all the wealth of father, it was also his duty to take punishment for his father's sin. The rich merchant escaped the punishment of execution as he was too thin to be properly executed on the stake. What are the Guru's words of wisdom? When does the disciple remember them? Guru's words of wisdom were, "They're all fools. This won't last very long, and you can't tell what they'll do to you next." The disciple remembered this when he was selected to be put to death just because he was fat enough to fit the stake. How does the Guru save his disciple's life? Guru asked the king to execute him first, as he was Guru and hence greater in stature than his disciple. As instructed earlier, the disciple also asked he should be executed first. Confused by this act of Guru and disciple, king asked the reason. The Guru said it was a special city and he was a special king, and that stake is the stake of the god of justice. Whoever dies on it first would be born as the king of this country, and whoever goes next will be future minister of this country. On hearing this, the king postponed the execution, had a meeting with the minister, and secretly released Guru and disciple, disguised themselves as the two, and, as ordered earlier, the king and the disciple were executed. By plotting this plan, Guru managed to save his disciple's life. With this, we end the lesson. Thank you.